Welcome back to part 3 of the video series on motivation, concept, theories, and implications for managers. In the earlier two parts, we have discussed what exactly motivation as a theory is, what is the concept of motivation, and why is it important for managers and leaders to learn about it. In the part 2 of this video series, we have discussed what exactly is Abraham Maslow's take on motivation and how he explains motivation in a beautiful, simple manner. He says that motivation for an individual happens from lower order needs, that is the biological, physiological needs, and then the individual keeps on moving to the higher order needs, which are social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. This Abraham Maslow's theory is an evergreen theory and is a favorite of interviewers, examiners, and management alike. If you have entered into the management arena and if you do not know Abraham Maslow's theory, it is as good as कि ये PSPO नहीं जानता. It's as basic as that, and you must absolutely know it. Now there are certain limitations to Abraham Maslow's theory, and we'll be discussing it in a short while. Now, the first and the foremost is that most of the concepts that Abraham Maslow talk about, he says that people follow a particular order. When they are moving into motivation, they follow a particular order. They move from biological to safety to social to esteem, and that order in real life is actually not followed. You will find out that the order at any given point of time, an individual might be having safety and social needs both. He may be not interested in a safety need at all, probably. If he's safe at home, he's no longer required a safety need. He'll be as interested in the esteem needs. He wants to show his status. And some people are born, like if suppose we're taking an example of Mahatma Gandhi, he always wanted to, focus on self-actualization as a need. So individual to individual, because the human beings are difficult to predict, are difficult to categorize, this oversimplification of motivation as a theory is not right. Apart from also, this particular concept was basically developed for the US workforce. US workforce culturally is a very individualistic society where people just keep on thinking about themselves. If you apply these concepts in Asia, in Japan, in the European countries, these concepts will or will not work, may or may not work. So this was a theory which was applicable for US workers alone. So that is another criticism. People have been found to pursue multiple number of goals, multiple number of needs at any given point of time. And why should any particular person be satisfied with only 5 needs? Are there only 5 needs that an individual might have, that an individual worker might have, an employee might have? There can be spirituality needs, there can be other needs which do not fall in the purview which Abraham Maslow has given. So these are the various limitations and criticisms of Abraham Maslow's theory, but yet this particular theory remains an evergreen theory, a favorite of the masses. Basis of this particular theory, so many other theories of motivation and charging up of your employees came up. The best part of this oversimplified theory, I'll repeat it once again, is because you can now grade your employees depending upon कि आपका employee कौन से grade में है. अगर उसको safety needs चाहिए तो आप उसके लिए health accident insurance दे सकते हो, salary allowances दे सकते हो. तो it oversimplifies the things. It gives a prescription for the managers, for the organizations कि problem कौन से level पे है, वर्कर कौन से लेवल पे है, उसके बेसिस पे आप मोटिवेशन का वो तड़का लगाइए. सो दैट इज़ द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर मोटिवेशन थ्योरी एंड दैट इज़ वाई इट इज़ सच अ पॉपुलर थ्योरी. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट थ्योरी, वी हैव डन criticisms. If you have listened to me properly, we'll be moving on to the next theory that was given by Herzberg. He gave the two-factor theory of motivation. Herzberg's two-factor theory, he basically was a psychologist and he gave this theory. Much of it was based on the Abraham Maslow's theory of lower order needs and higher order needs. We have discussed that earlier. Lower order needs are physiological needs and safety and security needs, while higher order needs are social, esteem, and self-actualization needs. So basically, he used the same wine in a new bottle and presented his own assumptions and his theories on motivation much similar to Abraham Maslow's, kind of a copycat. But yes, this particular theory is again very, very important because it highlighted some of the things that were not highlighted in Abraham Maslow's theory. Herzberg had actually interviewed 200 accountants and engineers for this particular theory, which was never done on the topic of motivation, and that gives validity and scientific relevance to this particular theory. Frederick Herzberg said basically that there are two types of factors which motivate or demotivate a particular individual inside a company. There are hygiene factors. Hygiene factors are the basic factors that any company needs to implement. If these basic hygiene factors are not there inside of a company, the employees will not be motivated. You cannot ensure that your employees will be motivated if these hygiene factors inside your company are not there. Not having washroom inside your particular company, not having AC, not having an office, not having seating arrangements, these are hygiene factors. These are a must have. These are foundations. If you do not have these inside your particular company, the foundation itself is shaky and you will never be able to motivate your employees. So these particular factors, if you do not provide, will not directly lead to demotivation, but they will definitely not give you the solid foundation on which you can build motivation and get the work done in great numbers. These are hygiene factors. He gave 10 hygiene factors. These are external to the job. They are not internal to the job. They are not a part of the job. You provide water, you provide sanitation, you provide canteen services. These are external to the job. Examples would include salary, company policies, benefits, relationships with managers and co-workers. So basically what Frederick was telling, that on hygiene factors, you have to invest, but not beyond a particular point. You have to ensure that you are giving the basic level of amenities to your workers, but if that basic level increase, it will increase your cost. So he did not ask the management to focus a lot on this particular basic level of hygiene factors. He said motivator factors or motivating factors are more important and the companies should focus on those. So what are the motivator factors? He said there are 6 factors. GARWAR is the particular acronym. GARWAR is the acronym by which you can remember all these motivating factors, is what he said. Simply put, these are the factors that lead to satisfaction and motivate the employees to work harder. These factors, motivator factors, are internal to the job. They are like the bricks of the house. Hygiene factors were the foundation on which the building has to be built, having the basic amenities inside the company, and then you have the bricks of the house as motivating factors. These bricks will ensure that your building remains strong and intact for a very, very long time. So what are those factors, motivating factors? Examples are growth. You provide enough opportunities for growth of your employees. You provide them a sense of achievement when they achieve something. You praise them. You give them certificates. You give them recognition. You give them enough responsibility. Let them grow inside the company. Let them grow in terms of salary. Let them grow as persons. The work itself can be a motivator. If the work is challenging, if the work is demanding, if the work is giving you new realms of finding yourself, the work itself is challenging and the worker will love it. You have to give them opportunities of advancement and recognition. So growth, achievement, responsibility, work itself, advancement and recognition for all the work done are the motivating factors, is what Frederick Herzberg said. Imagine this is 1950s and they are giving you a prescription for success. They are giving the managers the prescription for success inside of the companies. I had told you that he had studied 200 accountants and engineers for this particular process. So basically, if you look at hygiene factors and motivating factors, if the hygiene factors of the particular company are not taken care of, what will happen? They will lead to job dissatisfaction. Right? The people will not be satisfied, but they will still be working with you. It will not be leading to a decrease in the particular satisfaction level of the employee. But if the motivating factors are present, promotion opportunities for personal growth, recognition, responsibility, achievement, if these things are offered in the best possible way, you will be seeing your workers giving you a great amount of return. So that is Friedrich Herzberg's two-factor theory, hygiene factors and motivation factors for you. We'll be discussing the other theories, McClelland's needs theory, Alderfer's ERG theory, in the next part of the particular video series, in video part series 4. Keep watching because these are very, very important for you as a manager to know. Thank you so much.